You just put like the text underneath. Put the link.
Oh yeah, I think the person doing
Just like that. Just
the video, it says like to submit video outline. So I think one person.
I could drop 30 so good.
I would go, yeah, like really random websites and I would go just be searching. Oh wait, no, it says it's
I mean,
possible.
you got, the first one you got
Okay.
26. You got
So I
20
can do the
photos.
video and then tell us.
What if, now stay with me, we went offline for a bit and traded pixels for pine trees and selfies for sunsets and the Wi-Fi for wilderness? I know it all sounds old-fashioned, but aren't we already going down that retro road? Being outdoors, I know we all think dirt and sun, and who wants to get dirty while playing in the sun, right? Let's redefine outdoors. The Wi-Fi becomes the wilderness, the sunsets become fulfilling and beautiful, and being outdoors just becomes an out-of-this-world experience. Will you be ready for the adventure that awaits outdoors, or will the unknown hold you back?
I'm Tisa Bays. I'm here to tell you a little bit about camping, something that I've been doing every year since I was little.
My name is Tyson Reitmeyer, and I'm here to talk about fishing, something that I've been doing all my life.
I'm Adri Scheid, and I'm here to tell you about paddleboarding, something I've been doing since I was in elementary school.
I'm Mason Kim. I'm here to talk about skiing. I've been skiing since I could remember walking.
As you venture out into nature and you let it become your adventure, you'll need to decide where to go when you go camping. According to Whatcom County, Washington, there are over 120 sites across just 2 campgrounds. The first being Silver Lake Park with 90 sites across 3 different campsites, and the second being Lighthouse Marine Park, which is a little bit farther away, but it has around 30 campsites. There are countless other campgrounds and places to go, whether you're looking to camp in your car or in an RV or in a tent campsite. According to Washington State Parks, they lay out clear availability from the beginning of April to the end of October, and they also list different amenities that the parks offer and some availability during the winter months in parks that have access to things like that, like Larrabee State Park or cabins at Silver Lake. After knowing where you want to go, you're going to need to know what to bring. According to an article posted in June 2023 by Smart Travel, one of the most essential things you're going to need is a tent. I would recommend bringing a pop-up tent so you're not struggling feeding the rods through your tent. It's just one that you can lay down and then you pull it up and it's ready to go. After your tent, or if you don't want to struggle with a tent and you want to camp in your car, one of the things you'll need is a car mattress. After you get that sorted out, you'll need to get a sleeping bag. I would recommend getting an insulated sleeping bag. I like the ones that are soft on the inside. There's several options all over the place, from REI to Walmart. And then you're also going to want to get off the ground by either a cot or an air mattress. I would recommend a cot just because air mattresses trap a lot of the cold air from the ground. The next thing you'll need to pack is all of the proper clothes that you'll need to wear. So things like long insulated shirts and pants, a nice rain jacket since we get a lot of rain up here, and camping pants or hiking pants are a really good way to go. They're insulated on the inside, and then on the outside they're a little bit more water resistant, so you're not going to get as damp. Also, if you're able to, hot pans or hand warmers are a really great thing to take camping. You can keep them in your pockets, so that way you're just getting a little extra warmth. The last thing that you'll need when you're camping is food, of course. The type of food that you're gonna bring is going to depend on how you plan to store it. So if you have cold food, you're gonna need an ice chest. According to Fresh Off the Grid in February 2023, the right amount of ice to food is about a 2-to-1 ratio. So that's about twice as much ice as you have food. But the good thing is that frozen food, like frozen meat that you're gonna use on the last day of your trip, counts as your ice. Dry food needs to be stored up away from animals. And you also need to figure out if you're gonna have access to, or you'll need to find a cooktop, or if you're gonna be able to cook your food right over the fire with your fire pokers. Keeping your food safe is important because the last thing that you want is for animals to get into your food and ruin what you brought.
Now, what would happen if you were camping and ran out of food? After setting up camp, you obviously need food, so you have to decide where to fish and what fish to catch. When someone decides to go fishing, they first have to figure out where to fish. Whatcom County has a few different rivers and creeks that are accessible to the public. The rivers and creeks being the Nooksack River, Samish River, and Whatcom Creek. Nooksack River season runs from September 1st to December 31st, as stated by the Washington Fish and Wildlife Department website, accessed in November of 2024. The Samish River only has shore fishing, and the season runs from August 1st to September 31st, and November 1st to November 31st, according to the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife website, also accessed in November of 2024. Whatcom Creek has a few different spots to shore fish, and the season runs from the first Saturday in June until October 31st. According to an article titled Whatcom Creek, which was published on July 20th, 2020. Along with river and creek fishing, there are numerous different lakes in Whatcom County, but I will mainly be talking about three. The three being Lake Whatcom, Lake Samish, and Lake Padden. Lake Padden and Lake Whatcom's fishing seasons are very similar and runs from the fourth Saturday in April until November 1st. Lake Samish has fishing year-round, but the best time to fish is during the spring and summer months, and it varies by species. This is all according to the website Best Fishing in America, a free guide to catching more fish, published on August 20th, 2020. These lakes provide different ways to fish, like boat, dock, and taking out a paddleboard or kayak. After choosing where to fish, you then have to decide what types of fish you want to catch. When fishing on the Nooksack, the fish you will most likely catch are salmon species. These species include chum, pink, coho, chinook, and sockeye. Steelhead and bull trout are also common catches, as stated by the Native Fish Society Organization's website, accessed in October of 2024. The most common fish you will catch on the Samish River is also salmon species, including sockeye, chinook, chum, and coho. Other species include steelhead, cutthroat trout, and dolly varden. At Whatcom Creek, you will once again be salmon fishing, and you will be catching species like chinook, coho, chum, and pink, according to an article titled Whatcom Creek, which was published on July 20th, 2020. When fishing on Lake Padden, the best fish to try and catch is rainbow trout. Other species include cutthroat trout, bass, kokanee, and panfish, according to an article titled Best Fishing in America, Free Guide to Catching More Fish, published on August 20th, 2020. According to the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife website, accessed November of 2024, the species of fish you can catch on Lake Whatcom include largemouth and smallmouth bass, kokanee, and yellow perch. Lake Samish has very similar fishing to Lake Whatcom's, as with the two species of bass, yellow perch, and kokanee. You'll also be able to catch coastal cutthroat trout, which is native to the lake. This is all according to the Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife website, accessed November of 2024.
Now when you go paddleboarding, it's not as dangerous or scary as it looks. Once you have fish in your belly, it is time to get back on the water and paddleboard. There are many elements that go into having a safe and fun outing, paddleboarding, but having the right supplies can make a huge difference. I would recommend when you first go to borrow gear, that way you can see what you like and what you don't like if you decide to buy your own. On November 4th, I read the article, Boating Equipment, off the Washington State Park website, and they said that you need a U.S. Coast Guard approved life vest. I recommend a paddling vest because it provides the best movability for your shoulders, and it is shorter and tends to ride up on your chin less. You also need a sound making device like a bell or a whistle. Many paddling vests have this built into them. You also need a flashlight for low visibility or at night, and a nighttime visual distress signals at night on federal waterways. I also recommend bringing a friend, and do stay clear of other boats. Check the weather for wind or rain, because if you're a beginner, the added challenge of wind makes it a lot harder. The REI website has an article called How to Stand Up Paddleboard that I read on November 4th, and it says, if your route requires that you paddle with the wind, start by going into it so that way you can get a boost from the wind on your way back when you're tired. The how-tos of paddleboarding are fairly simple, which makes it a great beginner sport. I would recommend learning how to get on and off your board safely, paddle around dangers, and deal with wakes of other boats. For this last one, I like to face them head on so I feel like I have the most control over my board when I go over those bumps. There's this article posted by the Roughwear website that I read this last couple weeks ago. It's posted on May 2nd of this year, called How to Paddleboard with Your Dog. It says, paddleboarding with your dog elevates the experience, blending adventure, companionship, and a splash of unpredictability into one exhilarating journey. When you start by preparing your dog, get them used to the board in a comfortable place, like your living room or somewhere that they're used to. You can place treats around the board, but don't force them to do anything at this point. Once they are relaxed with the board, you can train them to jump on and off the board on cue, use lots of treats and praise. Then after that, you can rock the board a little bit, still in a place with no distractions. Don't worry if your dog has regressed in their training, because this happens sometimes, and it just means they need a little bit more time to get used to it. Then you can practice in a different place on land, then with half of the board in the water, like as shown here. Then you are ready for short trips out in the short part of the lake or bay, wherever you go. And remember to keep sessions short and fun for both you and your pup.
Now, no matter the weather, you can still be outside. Once the water that you're paddleboarding on freezes over, it's time to go skiing or snowboarding. To get started, I always recommend renting your gear, which means your skis, your boots, your poles, or snowboard, whichever you may do. You can always find a shop nearby, especially with mountains so close by. We have plenty of shops within 5 miles around us. And from a local shop, Backcountry Essentials, that's less than 5 miles away from us, on their site, Access 11, November 7th, they have a rate of $49 for overnight renting of skis, boots, and poles, or $300 for the whole season. You can either do skis, boots, and poles, or you can do a snowboard and boots combo. For the actual gear that you're wearing, jackets, pants, helmet, gloves, such as that, I would always recommend buying secondhand. It's much cheaper to do so, and you really honestly don't need to buy new gear. I never really buy new gear, and I've been skiing for 10 years. All you have to do is go on Amazon, hit it with a little waterproof spray, and it's brand new. To get used gear from, I always recommend going to shops such as Play It Again Sports. They always have great used gear, or my personal favorite, eBay. Everything's super cheap. You can find whatever you want on there. Trust me. Once you have all the gear necessary to go on the mountain, there's only one thing stopping you, and that's a ticket. Ticket prices will range from mountain to mountain. Some will be more expensive, some will be cheaper. For the mountain closest to us, Mount Baker, per their site, accessed on November 7th, it's $95 for a day ticket. That's without tax. For some of the mountains a little farther away from us, around 2.5 hours away, Stevens Pass, that will be $120 off their online site. Or if you want to go to Snoqualmie, that would be $80 off of their site. Now, once you start skiing or snowboarding, you will notice the many, many benefits of it. One of the first things you'll notice is how nice everybody is there. I have personally met countless people in the parking lot, on lift lines, or on the lift that I still ski with to this day. I mean, I've met people from 5-6 years ago. They go to schools 10 miles away from me. I still see them every year. It's just the type of people you meet up there. You'll meet anybody up there, you know? You'll meet rich people who are just doing this as a hobby, or you'll meet people who literally spend all their money on the mountain and skiing, and that's basically their life. Another thing you'll notice after skiing for your first time is how tired you are. So according to honehealth.com, accessed on November 8th, a 150-pound downhill skier on average will burn 360 calories per hour. Now that's a great workout. And the thing is, you are most definitely going to be on the mountain for more than 1 hour. So you will probably be burning upwards of 2,000, 3,000 calories per day. Because if you think about it, you're driving up to the mountain, you're at least spending an hour, hour and a half driving up. You're not going to stay up there for only 1 hour and then spend 3 hours driving the whole time. It would be a waste of your money. So once you get better, you're only going to stay up there for longer and longer, and it just becomes easier after your first few weeks of skiing, and it definitely keeps up with your health, I would say.
In review, Teaser informed us on what camping is, where to camp, and what to bring. Tyson showed us where to fish and what to fish. Adriana discussed what is and how to paddleboard and what to bring. Mason enlightened us about skiing and the benefits that come with it. Warning: these outdoor pastimes or any other outdoor activities can cause excessive smiling, laughter, and warmth. Prolonged exposure to nature could lead to uncontrollable happiness, resulting in unforgettable memories. But I guarantee that discovering the thrill of skiing, the serenity of paddleboarding, tranquility of camping, and excitement of fishing won't be something you regret. And always remember, adventure starts with one step. So take that step. Trade pixels for pine trees, selfies for sunsets, and the Wi-Fi for wilderness. Embrace the unknown, unleash your inner explorer, and discover the transformative power of outdoor pastimes in Whatcom County. Thank you. Any questions?
What is the best mountain to ski at?
Stevens Pass.
They have any like student discounts or anything like that?
I think yeah, for college they should, because most of the mountains around. I know Baker has one. I know Snoqualmie should have one. But yeah, Stevens should definitely have one.
What's the biggest fish you caught?
The biggest fish I caught was a long time ago. I don't remember exactly how big it was. I want to say it was probably about, yeah, I don't remember how big it was, but it was pretty big. That was just a long time ago.
What's like one of the better campsites that you recommend or one that you've been to?
So my favorite campsite is about 40-50 minutes away. It's out towards Concrete. It's near the KOA over there, but it's called Grandy Lake Campground. They have two. They have a north campground and a south campground. The south campground is more like if you wanted to reserve for like a big party, because it's like you come and you reserve the whole site. And then the other one is like a pay as you come, and it's only like $10 per night for camping. And they have bathrooms and stuff. No electricity.
Cool, thank you.
What are some good like paddleboarding places that you would suggest?
I really like Lake Welcome because that's where I took my dogs there. Especially if you're going with your dog, I'd recommend like somewhere without waves if you can, because then you can practice without it moving too much. I've also gone in the bay. It's a little more challenging because there are waves, and then Lake Samish is pretty calm too.
Thank you.
Do you have any training regimens or maybe first timer tips for people who are interested in skiing or snowboarding but want to make sure they're ready to stay up there long enough for it to be worth their while?
Not really. I mean, the thing I noticed about skiing is like after a while, after like the first maybe like hour or two, I mean you're gonna be tired no matter what. But the thing that really keeps me on the mountain is like the adrenaline rush. So that kind of just cancels it out for you. So I mean, just go fast, I guess. You know?
Go fast. I like that tip. That's a good tip. Go fast.
Any other questions?
What's like the best time to go camping?
The best time of year to go camping, I would say, is in the end of April. It changes every year, but opening fishing weekend is the best time to go camping, especially if you want to catch fish and you want to see a lot of people, because that's when I've noticed like the biggest amount of people all out there. They usually tend to stock the lakes with fish, and then you're able to catch more of them.
Thank you.